This is the most I've like ever contributed to a Zoom meeting in my life.
Yes. Welcome to the 8 great minutes. Oh, it's good to be with you, Allison. Pastor Kevin here. I'm starting the timer for 8 minutes for our conversation.
Okay.
And so just tell folks how are you? Who are you?
Hi, I'm Allison. I'm doing very well today. It is beautiful and I get to do this outside. I am an exercise physiologist and I'm getting my master's in exercise science. So I'm still a student, even though I graduated like 5 years ago now from high school. I found my way into this by starting CrossFit in high school. So here we are. I guess I never really strayed from that too much. And
And now
I
you like
like
have this like
fitness.
Instagram feed, right? Like,
I have an Instagram, shameless plug, at Alison Cook Fitness. There's an underscore in between Cook and Fitness. Give it a follow. I talk some science. I talk some topics that should be covered, mostly regarding how the diet industry treats women and how it's not fair and we should demand better. And then also some fun little workouts and info that I think everybody needs to know.
is it really fun to throw those giant heavy wall balls up? Like, if you've never
No,
done that before, like that's awesome, right?
not fun. It's not fun. Those are probably the worst thing ever invented. Those make you out of breath. You have to throw something, you have to squat, you have to catch something. Those are terrible.
So why would you do this?
You
Why?
can work on your weaknesses. So let's see, you have one movement, you got to throw, you got to catch, you got to squat. It makes you out of breath. It's 4 or 5 components of fitness right there in one movement. So, and if
Hmm,
you're bad at something, work on it till you get better.
that's something to chew on right there. Tell me about a favorite memory from high school. Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. My favorite memory of high school was probably the last few weeks. Everyone was so connected. It didn't matter what friend group you started in, what friend group you told yourself you were a part of or thought you belonged to. Everybody was willing to hang out whenever, wherever for 3 or 4 weeks. And it was just really, really awesome.
What an amazing thing. I mean, most of the time I think I have my friends, you have your friends.
Yeah, even like it was that time where if you had one mutual friend out of 2 separate groups, you were just like, okay, we're bringing everybody together and we're going to hang out. We're going to celebrate the accomplishment that we just made and make the most of our time together before we all split ways. And it was just really, really, really a lot of fun.
That's awesome. You know, I walking out of high school was such an amazing, freeing feeling. I felt like I was like, yes, like this is I finally did it, you know. But what's maybe been something hard or a hard lesson learned because of, after you got out, you thought, oh, I got this. And then it's like,
So I think it kind of overlaps a little bit with high school. And this sounds so cliche, but like you don't have to follow the crowd. And I don't mean that just like peer pressure or like clothes that your friends like. You want to be an independent thinker. And that's what's going to get you someplace in life, like in your friendships, in your relationships, in your career, in the things outside of your career. And I think it's kind of preached as like, hey, don't follow the crowd doing bad things. But like, you don't, even if the crowd is doing a good thing and you want to do a different good thing, that's completely okay. And that will send you places that following the crowd wouldn't have. And I think kind of doing that for me has even shown like a lot during this COVID-19 stuff. I haven't just been following the crowd. I can make my own decisions. I've chosen to, for the most part, stay home. I feel like we live in a very sheltered place where we aren't seeing like the bad effects, but that still doesn't mean like if I live by myself, well, I could probably go out and some of my friends do that because they don't have to come home to anybody, but I have 5 or 6 or 7 other people that I have to think about. and being able to like say no and be like, okay, I'm going to make everything work for me from home. I don't think I would have been able to do that if I didn't kind of start gaining that independence, like kind of last year of high school and into college for sure.
Mhm. I mean, using your freedom for the sake of someone else, you know, it's not just using your freedom for you.
Yeah. And I think when we were talking about my fitness account earlier, that's something that I need to do every day. Women tend to follow the trends. What do we want to do? We want to get skinny and wear really like hot clothes. That's not all women, but like that's what society tells us that we should do. And we don't need to be skinny. We should be strong. We should be confident. And that just kind of goes along with like the not following the crowd. I have to make my voice heard in a sea of voices that shouldn't be talking, but they are. So it all you that's two very different facets of life, and I feel like that lesson really applies to both. And then obviously the things that they tell us, don't follow the crowd to do bad things. You still have to run into that in college. I wish it ended
Yeah,
after
right.
high school, but it does not. And I wish it ended after you turn 21, but it doesn't.
Mhm.
So
I mean,
building
to have
confidence.
that kind of confidence though, to like make your own choices like you have, you have to have some resources that have supported you or help you think on your own. And obviously we're coming at it from a faith conversation today, and I'm sure you've had other things, but what's been like a faith resource for you?
So first, my parents, like faith and not faith, they are the ones who like raised me, but they also raised me in the church. I've been going to Bethlehem since I was baptized there, like one of the last baptisms in the old church.
Hmm.
And then I did preschool there. I did all the Christian education. And throughout that, I think Denny has been my biggest resource. He was my fifth grade Wednesday school teacher. And then obviously he does the Route 67 Ridge 8 now. That was just another year of confirmation way back when. And then through confirmation to this day, even though it's been like 8 years since I graduated, I can still call on Denny for anything. I was a sophomore in college when my best friend's mom passed away, and Denny's office was the first place that I went. And he is such a valuable part to Bethlehem, and I think he has really helped shape kind of how everybody else approaches um, community ministry. And I think other members of the church kind of approach helping in the same way that he does, like you. I think that you are very approachable. And had I not established that initial fifth grade relationship with Denny, you are still my go-to guy. But
Over the Zoom.
so
Yeah.
yeah. And I love the sense of community. I did a little presentation last year for the Route 67 kids about juuling. Don't do it. Um, and I was standing there up at the front, and all the sixth and seventh graders came in and sat down, and it was the exact same energy as I experienced 11 years ago when I would get done with church and go into Route 67 and wait for my friends to come. And it was just that hour of getting to be together and connect and learn something through faith. And I thought that was just really awesome that it was the same sort of excitement and energy and willingness to be there and learn and connect.
Hmm. That's awesome. Hmm. Can you believe it's already been 8 minutes?
Yeah, that timer really, that timer surprised me. I was like, I've not been talking for 8 minutes.
But I do want to hear though, before we're done, two quick things. One is, tell me, I mean, if you're home kind of for the summer as a student, and maybe you're going out, maybe you're not, you feel like I'm not going to really be able to do much. Is there something that a high school student can do And I also want to hear what the story of the tattoo that you have right there on your wrist.
Okay. We'll start with the tattoo because it's a quick one.
Okay.
This is Proverbs 31:25, which is she is clothed with dignity and strength and laughs without fear of the future. And my mom and I have this like mantra together that is like she believes she could, so she did. And I felt like those just went hand in hand. And this way I was able to tie in like my faith with the same mantra. So yeah, that's that story.
That's
um,
awesome. I had no clue that that was it. I
yeah,
was like, it's gonna be like lift strong or something like that.
no,
And no, it's
it's
actually like
Proverbs.
scripture.
Yeah. Um, and then if you want to do something and you just think you can't, you can. Um, my mom is a mental health therapist here in town, and one night we were watching one of your live prayer sessions. It was later, so not actually live, but live for you still. And she just kind of broke down in tears, and I was like, "Oh my God, emotion! I don't know what to do." And I was just like, "Hey, you okay?" And she's like, "No, it's a really hard time to be a counselor right now." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, it is." And I feel like they were just really overlooked in like the mental health, or not mental health, like healthcare in general. And so I reached out to you and Carly Shauneman, who's also a member here, and we made some little tags and coffee koozies, and we said like, "Hey, thank you for holding other people together. Here's something to hold your coffee." It wasn't the hardest thing to do. It wasn't the most financially demanding thing to do, and I have received like a lot of thank you so much, this is so thoughtful, we were not even like thinking of ourselves at this time. And like, so if you have an idea, just tell somebody and they will figure out how you guys can do that and help somebody out in Aberdeen together or the surrounding area.
You are awesome. And if there
Thank
was a high
you.
school student that
You are
wanted to connect with you, is that okay if I share some sort of contact with you so that they can?
yeah, um probably Facebook is the easiest way. Find me on Facebook.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.